positive light, it's synergy. You need to synergize. You need to find that spot wherein you're all comfortable in doing what you need to do. And I think so far that's what Malaysia has done.
Yeah, and Malaysia has been stellar on this composition or this a set of particular players to begin with, and now Malaysia will be playing on the red side. But before we actually lock in this draft, we'd like to announce that we have observed a visual bug into Diggy's lock settings and Young Gen's passive ability, allowing the users to see outside of his vision range. With this, Diggy will be globally banned from the tournament until May 16, 2023. This measure was implemented to maintain tournament integrity and fairness. Rest assured, all teams have been informed ahead of their respective matches. Going back to this draft, we've already seen quite a few bans. It looks like we're gonna have to redo a bit of it. I'm not quite sure on how extensive that went down.
You mentioned Diggy. I remember my friend's name. His name is
Diggy?
Diego Nguyen Mai.
Oh, Diggy.
He's part of the
Diego.
He's part of the Vietnamese contingency. He's with the Vietnamese national team. There you go.
I see.
All right, I recognize him now.
Well, I do hope that he ends up watching the English broadcast.
I'll tell him. I'll let him know. Because again, this is such a high-profile matchup. This is such a difficult obstacle for Team Vietnam, given the all-star lineup from Malaysia that works.
Yeah, and you know, we're talking about the nation's pride as well, and I think not just pride but also honor on the line here.
Yep.
You gotta play your hearts out. You gotta play with the intent to secure that gold medal.
Not just.
Not just.
I mean, SEA Games only happens twice after 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
twice every 2 years.
Once
every 2 years.
Okay.
Twice every 4 years.
Twice every 4 years.
Math.
Thank you, guys.
Thrice every 6
When I was studying, I
years.
didn't really like math. So
I see.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. What's your college course?
Economics.
What's your?
That's
a lot of
That's a
numbers.
lot of math. What do you mean?
That's sus.
That's why I went into public speaking
I see.
And eventually esports.
and eventually
Alright.
esports.
Anyways, back to it.
Wait.
Duri. There's a lot. Basically, being a national athlete is a responsibility.
It is. It is. You know, you kind of have to uphold a lot of virtues, a lot of basically. This guy.
Ripple, you were saying.
Ripple had to do it. You know, he knew that the camera was right in front of him. He was like, "Oh hey."
He had to acknowledge
and
it.
then had to be serious. And
Yeah.
then we have like players. I'm not sure who this
This is Gary.
Gary, who's just all about the game. And now we're gonna see a lot of nationalists.
Hey, hey, hey!
Hey! Is
There
that
you
a wrong
go.
flag?
There you go.
Did they flash the wrong flag at
They
first?
did.
Oh, they did. Oh,
Yep,
oh,
yep,
oh.
yep.
What are you gonna
Okay.
do?
But
Oh
also-
my God!
All right.
So I believe that they were also supporting Cambodia earlier.
They're happy to be there.
They're
Yeah.
happy to be there.
Thank you for
Happy to be
hosting
there.
us.
They probably removed their jacket in game 1, and then reapplied their jacket
Just to
game
get
2.
just
Yep.
Just
I do,
to
I do
slide
that
into the
sometimes.
vibe, you know?
I do that sometimes.
When did you do it?
I mean, for other sports.
I see. At this point, I feel like the entire stadium is filled with fans.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
With,
even yesterday, right?
yeah, with a matchup this hot. Again, we're just talking about it and I'm sweating. What more the folks in the theater? What more the people in the auditorium?
Have you been in this theater, like personally, when you went to Cambodia?
I've never been to Cambodia, man.
Who's that guy? That was
I swear you told me yesterday that you went to
No!
Cambodia.
No, we were talking about
Maybe-
Malaysia.
Maybe that's a different Leo.
No.
Are you
man.
talking to other Leos?
I don't know, bro. But at this point, I
You have other best buddies, huh?
I have a lot of best buddies. Everybody is my best buddy. You know? I can't understand this meme. I'm trying my best, my guy.
I don't think
I'm
it's
so
for
sorry.
us.
It's for everyone.
It seems
It's
it
for
seems
the
like,
broadcast.
Seems like a very localized meme.
Yep.
I wish I could understand Bahasa.
I don't think that's Bahasa. I think that was Khmer.
I am so sorry. that's me. That's my bad. Well, let's just go back to the game.
Yeah, let's do. Again, I think if I'm not mistaken, that should have been an R-Lot ban confirmed.
Yep, and 1-1 for the other side.
All right. Start him young.
Start him young. Enjoy MLBB. You know, I love it. Whenever I see
Wait.
like young children just watching.
Are
What?
those Malaysian nationals bringing their family to Cambodia to support Team Malaysia?
I guess. I feel like that's a big thing.
It's a family trip.
It's a family trip. How near is Malaysia
I
from
was about
Cambodia?
to ask.
Is it geographically speaking, is it like a 3-hour flight?
Or
Possibly.
maybe 45 minutes.
45?
kidding.
Who knows? You know, some countries are really close to each other. Timor-Leste and Indonesia are practically neighbors.
That's
We're
right.
just checking.
All right,
long?
here we
We just
go.
we
Oh!
have to be sure.
What?
Oddly enough, man, Malaysia is actually connected by land to Cambodia.
Oh,
Really?
I wouldn't say it's a trip you want to take though, not
by land.
Yeah.
You know, if it's by land, you gotta you have like a right angle.
Yep,
here.
they're connected via Thailand.
Yeah, and you're gonna pass through an entire country
That's
if
right.
you want to go to Cambodia from Malaysia.
Yeah, Singapore to Malaysia, that's definitely a day trip. You can,
Yeah, that's a
you can
day
do
trip. That's like you're gonna fly out here, then you're gonna land in Cambodia.
So if they take air transportation, or
Yeah, it's
how-
really fast.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Oh.
really fast. Maybe
Probably an hour.
12
or
hours?
so.
Or-
No,
No.
12 hours. Way too
I was
long.
just
You're
kidding.
gonna end up in America by that time.
That's not wrong. That's an actual estimate. Yeah.
Actual
no.
estimate.
All right. Right. If you're from the Philippines, it takes about 4 hours to fly to Indonesia. It doesn't look like it's impossible that maybe the Malaysia to Cambodia trip
it's an
2
hour.
hours.
is about 2.5 hours possibly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you just basically take a straight line throughout the Gulf of Thailand. All right. Quick.
Uh-huh.
Just geography 101 here.
Yeah.
Again, but that's how important the SEA Games is. We were playing the highest level of esports disciplines with our neighbors in the region.
Yep. Again, SEA Games was created to like really have this connection with other regions
Fellowship.
and know about their culture as well. So aside from the competition, we're here to really solidify the countries.
You know, it's a big opportunity for all countries to not only display their dominance or their skills in Mobile Legends, but also to make friends with each other. And I know this is gonna be cliche to say, but a lot of these players that meet again and again and again in world tournaments like this, a lot of them end up as either acquaintances or friends that you just happen to compete against. Like, the competition itself is fierce, but what happens outside of it is the one or many of the memories that these players, the coaches, the staff treasures.
I bet you that's true for Ripo. Ripo for the longest time was an import for Indonesia. I'm sure he's had lifelong friends now who live in Jakarta, who are Indonesian. And now that he's competing and playing in their local professional league, the MPL Malaysia, he takes all of those connections back. He takes back all of those friendships, and he's the better for it. And I think that's what the heart and soul of the SEA Games is.
And usually when we see international tournaments at the end of the tournament per se, most of the players really exchange their uniforms
Yeah,
as
jersey-
part
jersey
of
swaps.
The
remembrance.
sacred jersey
But I
swap.
doubt because this is a national team
Yeah, it's
uniform.
gonna be hard. Maybe an MSC, maybe an
Maybe an
MSC.
MC.
And a lot of these organizations, I just have to say that Malaysia, their jersey, the entire set looks amazing. Like, we've seen this
Yep.
countless times already. I feel like this has been their go-to jersey from time and time again. I feel like they wore the same jersey in the 31st SEA Games.
And the 30th.
And the
The
30th.
30th.
Yep, I have,
Probably even the 29th.
but esports wasn't a thing for the 29th. But yeah. But it's not impossible that their other traditional sports jerseys look similar. All right, we're back in the draft.
Back in the draft, the Arlet once again is banned here for Vietnam and the Valentina.
I
And
am the
it looks like
power of light
Malaysia will be
incarnate.
taking
wow.
away the 1-1 and the Kaja. The Joy is still open
Yep.
for this game.
Very interesting ban for Vietnam because for Valentina usually it is opened for probably the as a priority pick for the blue side. So for Malaysia, since they're banning out single target heroes, if they don't ban Joy on the other on the next ban, most likely it will be on Vietnam's side, and Franco will be open for Malaysia. So there's no trade in terms of those single target tank heroes. But for Vietnam, they could ban out
Thorns
So-
remain.
Wait a
Kenshi.
minute.
That's early for Lancelot. Why not? High percentage of winning.
Something tells me that last ban for Vietnam may have been a burn.
What do you mean a burn?
Like, again, they want the Joy open. They want the Franco open.
Oh, that might just be it.
They want the... What else is out there?
You know, the Kaja being banned gives more value to the Joy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Potentially, they could give up the Franco to the hands of Malaysia, get the Joy, or put it on mid lane and even get the glue.
That's
for the
right.
second
Yeah,
rotation.
Glue is still
And
open.
since they have like 2 picks on the second rotation of this picking phase, they could even secure a Faramis with the glue after they get the
Wow,
joy.
a lot of heroes has been hoping for with this
Time
bagging
to drop
sequence.
the
So it's
beat
gonna
of
be
the
joy
clock.
here for
Your team is
Malaysia. So
picking.
for Vietnam, they could go glue, or maybe Faramis first and open glue on the other side.
Among the planes
Wow.
exists the
Your team-
That's worth it.
equilibrium,
I'd say that's worth it.
which I
I
was
mean,
made
the
for.
only counters left is probably the
Kadita.
Or you could match it with a
With Farsa.
Farsa.
Oh, the Farsa closer to a 50-50. The Kadita, that's a winning matchup.
Yep. So although for Malaysia, they could now take maybe glue and even Kadita for this 2 picks. Just to secure that counter against either any other hero, actually, even if Vietnam will choose to pick Akai for their lineup. So they have sustain, they have magic damage, not unless they go for Karita and even Fredrin.
Let's see what the first 2 picks are for Malaysia. What will you respond to Eve with? Are you gonna go for the Kadita route or the Farsa route?
what's your command?
Perhaps.
Oh,
yeah.
team is
Nope.
picking.
It's gonna be the Fanny. And I feel like this is going to be the first time, or maybe one of the very rare times, where we actually get to see the Fanny in play
value
in
in
the
me?
SEA Games.
So is this a gut check for
You
Malaysia?
should.
Is Vietnam
Gut
saying,
check.
do you have a Faramis roam? Right? Because look, if they go Faramis roam here, they can answer it. But no, they don't. They don't care.
I was about to say for Vietnam that it is advisable for them to take Franco or even Moscow just to
Stop
counter
the Fanny.
the Fanny. But
I agree,
that,
agree.
that is really focused on the Fanny, so it might be a disadvantage for them. But you have an option for Vietnam. But for Malaysia, since they have the glue, they could now take Fanny or maybe secure a marksman hero just to
The flare that's gonna light up
as
your
much as
team
possible
is
secure
picking.
already. So it's gonna be Beatrix for Malaysia. So next ban for Vietnam, an XP lane.
Let's see if it's going to be an XP lane. But right now, Vietnam is looking like a great team fighting composition here. They do have a lot of tankiness coming in from the Fredrin and additional crowd control. And I feel like this Eve is already one of the best, or not the best mage right now in terms of utility and damage. And you put the Melissa inside of the real-world manipulation, that's just free reign for the Muddles as well.
Yeah, if anything, the real world manipulation is
Your team
another
is
layer
standing.
after the go away. Like, when you try to get out of it, you actually get immobilized. You try to get into it, not a good idea either. So I like
Your
what
team is
Vietnam has set up for
standing.
their artillery. Malaysia taking out that Hayabusa, and Vietnam closing up the gaps for mid. What is a Nami left to play? Are they not afraid of Kadira? I don't think they care.
Yeah, actually for Vietnam. But interesting ban for Malaysia actually banning out Hayabusa. So they want to force this Fredrin not to be used on the XP lane. So it is forced to go on the jungle role. So probably an Akai ban for Malaysia.
Yeah. Let's see if it's going to be an Akai ban.
Or Kufra.
Kufra could be banned here, and mainly because you have the Fanny.
shall succumb to my power.
Team
Perfect
is
guess there,
banning.
Chantel. And I have to say that this Fanny is looking to be more of a
Your
liability right
tendencies are
now.
my domain.
Vietnam, Karita, nice choice for them. Now Malaysia has the option to take Faramis as their mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Faramis, yes, for this game. Not-
And they can also cover for the roamer. Like, at that point, if you pick up the Faramis here, you still don't know who's going in the
Yep.
roam.
Which could be a surprise pick right after Vietnam secures that last 2 picks for their lineup.
If they don't secure the Faramis here, I'm pretty sure Vietnam will. I do feel like the roamer for the side of Vietnam does have that Faramis in him.
Faramis?
You kind of I feel like it's one of those soft
to go to the
requirements.
Armageddon.
It's a soft
Your
requirement
team
for
is
roam.
picking.
You have to know either the Kadita or the Faramis, plus all of the other tanks.
The normal
Yeah.
picks, the expected ones. All right. This is, yeah, the gentleman to the left is indeed Gnart from Vietnam. I wonder, what's the call?
Could be an Akai or Franco
is our
for...
homeland,
So
and
it's
it
gonna
will
be
soon be our burial
Labo.
ground.
So, Jungle Fred.
Is not just a
Oh!
Team is picking.
It is
Although,
who
this is an interesting lineup for Vietnam. We were actually pinpointing Franco and Akai just to, you know, zone out the Fanny. But with the lineup of Vietnam, they just really want to go aggressive against the Lilia and even the Beatrix.
All
No
right.
Minotaur?
No, not today. You know what this is going to do? It's going to force at least 2 purifiers from Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
But also, this is more in their wheelhouse. I think this is more of an art hero. So yeah, they did stray too far from the tree.
And that could be a great decision for Vietnam if they're playing for comfort here. So let's see if it's going to be enough to stop a Fanny. Because as far as I'm seeing it, the only person that could stop the Fanny here will be Melissa's Go Away or a well-timed energy eruption coming in from the Fredrin. And meanwhile, for the side of Malaysia, all of them are slippery and one of them sticky.
That is a signature Cho on Sorn. I am excited. We're in for a treat.
And it is a nice post 5 hero for Sorn on the side of Malaysia. Again, when you have a fan on your lineup as much as possible, you need to defend the areas because one factor, natural counter against a Fanny is to try to steal their buff. So with the secure of, or with the vision of the Cho has, and the dodge capabilities on the shoot ball, it is a lot easier for Malaysia to secure the buff for their fan. But anyways, with the lineup of the other team, all I can say is in terms of team fight, if they will set up a nice fatal links, it will be nice for their Melissa.
Yeah, better box for Vietnam.
A lot of team fighting capabilities for Vietnam. Meanwhile, for Malaysia, they gotta give it to them in terms of pickoffs. It's gonna be very interesting to see Sorn on his signature hero here to try and find the opportunities for Malaysia and maybe even avoid team fights from happening.
Take note, by the way, that for Gary, he already used his retribution. So although for Vietnam, there's no real vision. Usually we see some of the post fights to really go on those area, but definitely no steal from Vietnam because of that.
Oh, but also, look at Sorn. He's been going 2v1, at least 2v1, since the game started. He's been holding down the fort.
That's just confidence from Sorn. He's been emoting as well the entire time. He knows for a fact there's 2 people. He just kind of wanted to play with Vietnam here. But no retributions will be burnt. I still think that Malaysia, with this type of like attitude to be in the beginning, could definitely mess with the minds of Vietnam here.
There's mental warfare.
Yeah, but I mean, you always see Sorn to go beyond that leader side. So a lot of information for Malaysia right now. And interestingly enough, for the side of Vietnam, there's only one player. I mean, for the side of Malaysia, that was forced to use this Purify. So it is expected for Chico guys to have a bit of a problem in terms of positioning when there is a team fight, not unless Gar will be in front of the initiation.
Yeah, in this Beatrix versus Melissa matchup, I'm expecting the Melissa to have a slight edge in the laning phase, maybe because of the range advantage. But I do see that they're going in for an early rotation up in mid lane for extra gold.
Oh, Narc, very low. Can you guys finish it? Indeed he does. With a tactical reposition, it compromises Vietnam's first Lord take, rather turtle take possibilities.
Nice position for Chico guys at that moment, by the way. It's as if he's just waiting for the player of Vietnam to be on that area to do the free hits. Nice communication from Malaysia.
And I like the read there. Both flickers burnt. I am not even a flicker for the Melissa.
Yeah, no.
As he just dashed away. He knew that the Cho would burn his flicker. When you're a gold laner of this standard, you kind of feel if somebody's off to get you.
I can almost hear Zorn as he flickers in, comes up short and goes, hey. Right? Because again, that's a great catch though, this time around. Redeeming himself, blasting Nard, another kill for Chiku.
I love the weapon swap to ult. Like this has been the go-to combo right now. Whenever the locket goes in,
they're still going. Still alive. You were saying?
I mean, that combo for the Beatrix right now. You lock down the target. Your pulse 5 or your roamer locks down a target. You throw in Bennett's Passion. You switch up to Nibiru, immediately popping Nibiru's Passion and Bennett's Rage.
That's right.
Just going in with a lot of burst damage.
Very effective rotation, but wait.
Zorn very low. Joe gets a turtle and a Fatal Links. Oh, carry knocked up. He doesn't want any of this. Ripo very low, commits his flicker on out. Can Yandere finish the job? Oh, Vietnam calls out.
By the way, very nice timing with the Fatal Links from Nart at that time. So Malaysia has to be prepared on that one. But for Malaysia, they were able to secure that. I mean, no, but it was.
Oh!
If I were, I mean, you just really have to look forward for that one with that stationary weight.
Here's a kick. Zorn puts Joe underneath. That tier 1 in mid. Zorn finishes his job. Oh, he still wants Nart. Can he get him? Oh, playing with his food. A flicker from Nart.
And Joe did the right thing. He was going in for a kill against a mid laner who've already burnt his black shoes. But then again, Sorn, with his signature Cho, finds an angle, kicks him back to the turret, and then it left Vietnam asking, where's Joe? And then who's Joe?
How's Joe?
How's Joe?
And then Joe says, "I'm not Joe."
Joe,
But
Joe
yeah,
Mama.
yeah, for Malaysia, it is all credited to the vision that Sword has, even the aggression. Just look at that, Izanami dives in under the turret and uses the black shoot just to back away and deal damage against the Meow. So Malaysia is just all over the place for this game.
Look at this. A Fatal Links on the 1. Zorn does get away with it, though. And he lives. Meow gonna try to finish the job. The tail end of Mia takes him down, but there's a trade. Izanami, his fallen comrade. And there's Kiku guys with the point blank. Damir was fashion. Now Nart falls. It's 2K for Izanami. 3 for 1 at the end. Malaysia comes out the victor.
The Vietnamese squad still getting a few kills here against Malaysia. Meow, great find on the bravest fighter in Malaysia. Chico guys' positioning in that fight definitely got more than Vietnam there.
Steady soul blooms, by the way, from Izanami at that time. We saw that damage against Joe, so it is very difficult for Vietnam to really stay longer on those areas of team fights. And we could see again the pressure being brought by Malaysia here at the top lane just to secure the turret for Chico guys. What's really nice for the rotation of Malaysia is that when they do the double laning for Chico guys, there is always a kill. So it is an only, 3-0-2 for the KD of Chico guys, right? And with this KDA, it is expected that the damage and even the items of Chico guys is really ahead as compared to Yandere of Vietnam.
And even if Malaysia are playing with, again, a game of inches, even if they don't convert as big or even if the lead isn't as huge, I'd say this is working. I'd say, again, a team fighting lineup like Vietnam, this is a great start for Malaysia as we go into the mid game. Can I just say, is this not the best of Chico guys we've seen, at least in the past year?
I feel like Chico guys right now is reaching a new prime. Like, I feel like every time we see Chico guys,
A new prime.
a new prime, and
Before we thought it was already his prime.
now it's a new prime.
It's
you
a
know?
new prime.
And I have to say, Sorn as well, looking
Right.
quite
Oh.
stellar. I mean, he literally went away after
Close
goal.
call. Was there not a time wherein we thought Chico guys was going to retire or
Yeah.
at least take a break?
But with this performance, maybe not.
No.
Not yet for Chico guys.
The Malaysian people are not going to allow it, Chico. You're too good.
You retire when the government says so. And it's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen.
Not when you're playing this amazingly.
I mean, 3-2 for this Beatrix. The map awareness is there. The right choice of weapon on this Beatrix. And 4.7 goal lead for Malaysia at this 7-minute game time. And again, continuous pressure at the top lane. Look at Sorn standing.
Oh, Lord! Look at that! Oh, Fatal Links attempt. Now Zorn falls, but they trade out for 2. And can they capitalize? Oh.
Just look at the confidence of Malaysia whenever Sorn is trying to dive against the players of Vietnam. They are aware that even Izanami and even Gary can back away even if they are being targeted by the turret. So right now, Malaysia is doing pretty well, but for Vietnam, they could change things around if Yandere will secure that item or an item that is more on attack speed. Maybe the Demon Hunter sword.
I just gotta say though, like Sorn in that play, he literally stood right in front of those 2 people, and it's like the Jedi mind trick. How about y'all group up like side by side before I flicker in with my final kick?
Yeah, no,
And
that's what you get.
it's a Jedi mind trick,
That's
bro.
what you get with the mental warfare that Zorn has been playing ever since. starting the competition here in the SEA Games. Look at it, the recalls, the stickers, the emotes, it all gets into your head.
Definitely mind games for Sword. Imagine if you are Vietnam, you have to think, is this gonna be a play
Can we
from
get it?
Sword?
Wait a minute. It's still just 9 minutes in. It's important and it's imperative for a lot of Filipinos watching right now that this does not end before 10:20, because if it does, it diminishes a majority of the chances here for Philippines. But if this goes past 10 minutes 20, Malaysia is basically doing the Philippines a favor.
I'm not sure if it's 10, 20, or 30 minutes because of the information that we had earlier, but around those times, we'll confirm that later.
Yeah, and regardless, if Malaysia wins, that also still just secures and cements the rankings for Group A. Because, if I'm not mistaken, the Philippines wins the head-to-head to Vietnam since they beat them.
And Vietnam, they could potentially still turn this around with a big team fight. Again, this is a very team fight-centric competition.
Better box, that's right.
Coming in from Vietnam. And we've seen 8K gold leads diminish by the hands of Malaysia themselves against Philippines.
Yep, if any team knows that that's possible, it's this squad right here. So they have to respect that possibility.
Speaking of possibilities, again for Vietnam, we saw the possibilities with North's fatal links earlier. Also, Izanami again with this shadow entry. You can't really initiate if there's massive damage from this Lilia. But yep, Lord marching in at the bottom lane. Vietnam has the kit in terms of minion wave. This is the first Lord of the game with Melissa's damage per second.
Might just go for it, but he doesn't.
In for it.
Soren's
just spacing them out, man.
Why?
And there's a 3-man knockup and a kick onto the Atlas. They answer back with Fatal Links and the RWM. Gary gets taken out. Meow defending their base. But Izanami finishes the job. 2 for 1 so far. Turret still standing. Top and mid. Oh, Malaysia, they're gonna push their luck here.
But down the
wonder
sniper.
the snipe from Chico, guys. No one home. Finds Nart. Wants to go again. And, oh, there's a breather.
Okay, so for that one, we still have a minion wave though for Malaysia at the middle lane. And look at Chico, guys. This did damage. And another one for Nart. Nice defense though for Vietnam. They are still alive in this game.
Still trying to defend their base. Vietnam, 4-10 is our kill score. It's a massive gold lead coming in from Malaysia. An 8.5k gold lead means the next Lord could be lethal against Vietnam. But Vietnam, I mean Malaysia, they know that this type of lead could still be a one-way push. They did it themselves, and Vietnam has the capacity to do so. We know that the Melissa is such a great siege type marksman, if you would use her that way, and also a big team fighting one too. So Vietnam, they have all the tools to mount a comeback if Malaysia gets too overconfident.
Yep, definitely it will start from North's, maybe the Fatal Links probably against Chico, guys. Chico, guys, is the only problem here. Maybe even Izanami, although there is the Purify. Regardless, whichever of those 2 players that we've mentioned for Vietnam. By the way, we have to consider the positioning of a Sorn on that bush rather. So most likely it's gonna be Hehe and even a Yagare that will go on that area.
And this is a crucial Lord because we just got crucial information as well that Vietnam needs a faster win against Malaysia's win against the Philippines, which was 14-21. And we're 2 minutes away from that. The Lord is still there. If Vietnam, for some reason would secure that Lord and goes for a one-way push, Team Philippines would be basically, I wouldn't say dead, but
In shambles.
in shambles.
Yep, and that could happen though for Malaysia, since there's a possibility for Gary to go for a split push. Although I believe for Vietnam, they are aware that is a thick minion no wave flow from Malaysia.
They're on their side. And Gary now goes instead for the purple buff. And yeah, this Lord pull, this Lord dance, dare I say, for Malaysia, is looking great because again, Vietnam really, they're outgunned.
Yeah,
It'll
they
be
are.
too dangerous if they try to steal.
And that will be a clean Lord take for Malaysia as their gold lead rises to almost 10,000. They could potentially end this with one big push, and I love the setup that they're doing right now with their waves, Chantel.
Yep, and speaking of setups, I believe with the item right now of Zorn with the Immortality, it's a lot easier for him to like dive on the base of Vietnam and go for a lock against Yandere. For Vietnam, the only player that could actually clear the mid or have the mid this Lord is going to be Yandere with the help of the initiation, of course, of his teammates. Now, for Malaysia, they could go and really have Gary bait the skills
Let's
of
see.
Vietnam with this Lord marching out of the bottom lane.
And there are waves as well in the mid and the top wave. And it's going to be massive for Malaysia. It's quite clear that they want to end this now.
Yep, they understood the dynamic. They respected the fact that a comeback could come out of nowhere. Hence why they played it very clean, very safe. And look at the positioning of Nard. This is interesting. What an angle. If he can get this.
Yup, although there's a vision already from Gary. By the way, Izanamis Black Shoes has been used. And even for Zorn, he is a bit disciplined on that aggression. I mean, with the crowd control that Vietnam has, it is a bit difficult to dive in again with that Jeet Kune Do and Way of the Dragon combo on his choke.
I just can't believe this. Vietnam, despite a 11k gold lead, perfectly set waves coming in from Malaysia. That was the end game for Malaysia, but the clear speed coming in from Vietnam, still holding on to the hopes of basically winning this game via comeback. This is still very important.
Oh no, Izanami, another black shoes into the back line! Hey, it's assassinated by Gary. Now Zorn with the flicker, the answer back, go away from Yandere. Looking at a 4v5 defense. And so far Malaysia, they are hell-bent. Look at the space Chico is buying himself. A single tactical reposition plus a flicker, and an ult could end this all for Vietnam. And there's a knockup by Zorn, a kick on to Nard, and there he is! A lot of damage, but the answer back, a fatal links. Chico is down!
Izanami's down!
Izanami's down as well! 2-for-1 trade, Vietnam succeeds in the defense!
Just when we said that for Vietnam, they just needed a fatal links from Nord, a very nice set from Nord, and at the same time, we see already the damage from Yandere as to why there is a way for Vietnam to extend this game.
Oh,
It's a one-way!
Lord, it might be! 50 seconds away. Look at Zorn. What's happening? Oh, that's 5. Knocking on the doors. Chiku, 8 seconds away. Izanami, the same. Can Zorn get it? There's a knockup.
Yandere.
The kick on the Yandere. The answer back. The RWM. He don't survive. He has an immortality. Here comes Repo drawing a line between the base and the sieging Vietnamese squad. And the fatal links answered back. Repo with the split. Just enough time to get the immortality. Down goes Joe.
Man, such a threatening push coming in from Vietnam. That could have been the one-way push that Vietnam wanted to end the game, and now Nart in trouble, and Izanami takes him down. Yandere and Meow. Zorn is looking for him. Jeet Kune Do will not land. Stickers up though, because Lord might just been secured by Malaysia.
Commendable defense by Malaysia, and the clearing of minion wave of this little hero is just massive against Vietnam. For Vietnam, again, they just need that setup play, probably start with the RWM slow, and then give space for Nart and even Joe on that energy eruption. But regardless, for Malaysia, all they need is to really find Yandere, but Yandere is really using his Joe away very nice, and we saw that earlier against Gary.
What? Yandere hasn't died yet?
Yup.
Yandere!
The positioning, man.
There's so many ways for Malaysia to actually get to him, and he hasn't died yet?
Yes, that's how good Yandere is in terms of his positioning. But Chico, guys, has been farming out of his mind in this game. 15k gold!
I mean, for this type of farming and even gold that Chico guys has, I believe that he has extra gold if they go really aggressive on this possible final push for the team.
Yeah.
Maybe an immortality and go for the tower lock. Why not? For Team Malaysia, look at that. There is the zone.
Oh, it's a seal play from Zorn into you guys. And they sink all the waves. Look at the Lord. Threatening the crash into Vietnam's base. And there's an RWM coming in from Hehe. Down goes Yandere. Gary and Zorn punching away. Keep guys falls. Ripo still here. Izanami as well. 3 members from Vietnam still defending. Gary goes down. Hehe as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Vietnam, their last stand. Is it going to be enough? Zorn just punching away. Malaysia takes the win.
And here we see Repo once again. Another iconic celebration, I think. Oh, of course he's gonna do it. You gotta do it to him, Repo. Malaysia takes this game against Vietnam. And based on the information that we have right now, it is